communism is so good. Like, it was created to help people. And then you come here to America and they're like, no.
A lot of American people think that Russian women are gold diggers.
I remember for first 6 months, I would literally sit in the back of the class and cry.
Yeah, if you smile, you're stupid.
He said, I was born here, I'm gonna die here.
What a great business idea. Next time I'm gonna go to Russia, I will bring the gold.
Take a lot.
I'm here in the studio with Veranika from Belarus. Thank you so much for visiting me today, and thank you for willing to share your story on this wonderful podcast.
Sure, I'm glad to be here.
When I was little, this is very random, but when I was little, I always told my family that when I will grow up, I will move to Belarus. I don't know why.
Oh, wow.
And then I realized that I think in my mind, in a child's mind, Belarus, the literal translation of Belarus is white Russia.
Yeah,
so I was like, it's just like Russia, but cleaner. So of course I want to live there.
Usually when people ask me here in America, where are you from? When I say Belarus, nobody even has no idea where it is.
Of course not.
So I just say Russia. Not until lately.
Well, yes. But
Belarus.
That has always been my dream location for some reason when I was little to move there. I also had a family member from Belarus. He was my grandpa, and he was a very good man. So to me, Belarus, people from Belarus has always been very, very nice and very good to me. So enough about me. This is about you. This is your story. Let's start with your background. Share a little bit about where you're from in Belarus and what brought you here to America.
I was born in Minsk, Belarus. I lived there for 15 years. When I was 12 years old, my aunt, she moved to United States first. She started doing paperwork to invite us to United States. If you do it the right way, the legal way, it takes a while. It took us about 3 years to complete all the paperwork, complete interviews. And when I was 15 years old, my family moved to Portland, Oregon. And the reason why there are so many Russians in Portland, Oregon, when you go to the interview in Moscow, that's where we had to go, American Embassy, they pick a state where the most of your population live. So they gave us an option between Sacramento, California, Portland, Oregon, and I think there was one more state. And the reason why they do it, so it would be easier for you to adapt to the culture. And it was honestly very amazing. When we moved to Portland, Oregon, every other person is Russian there. There are a lot of Russian churches, a lot of Russian population.
I never knew that.
It was so easy to adopt. Right away, I plugged into the Russian church, Russian youth. I went to school. I found a lot of Russian people. So it was so much easier to adopt. My first job was through Russian people. They helped me get a babysitting job at school. So it was very helpful.
So you immigrated here with your entire family?
We did, yes.
With your dad?
No, my dad, he stayed in Belarus because he did not want to come, and they were divorced by that time.
Oh, okay. How did he react to your decision of wanting to move here? And how old were you at that point?
I was 15. He said right away he doesn't want to move. He said, I was born here, I'm going to die here. That was his. But my mom, she was a single mom with 5 kids. It was very hard, and, I'm glad we moved here.
So you moved to America, your first couple of days here. Describe how was it like for you?
When I was little, I remember, I would always watch those American movies. And you like in your head, you think like America is like a dream world for you. Like you always like watch those movies, how they have like huge houses, like a lot of cars, housekeepers. And I'm like, I always wanted to move to America. Like everybody till this day, like ask anybody in Belarus, do you want to move to America? Everybody gonna say yes. Because it's like, they show it like always, like so nice on a TV. Obviously, when you live here, it is a beautiful country, but you see some things that are not so nice, but they don't show it on the TV. So, especially when you're little, you create this beautiful picture of America, and you always, of course, you want to live there. So I was very excited when I found out we're about to move to America. I didn't even argue with mom or anything. She asked us if we wanted to move. I was very excited, especially we had 7 cousins that moved here. My aunt has 7 kids, and we were very close, so I was very excited to come here. And
did it match the expectations with the reality?
Some things did, some things didn't. Because in your child's head, you feel like you're gonna come to America, money is gonna come from the skies, fall on you, and you're gonna be so rich, drive beautiful cars, like you don't have to work and you're gonna have a housekeeper and a chef in your house. That's how it was in my head, because that's what they show on the TV. Like every movie I look, watch, they have like a housekeeper, they have a chef, and they serve you, and I'm like, oh, that's how I'm gonna live in America. And then I had a culture shock. When I came to America, I loved the stores. I loved the people. I was fortunate enough. We met a lot of good American people who helped us a lot. We came here without nothing, like nothing. Not a spoon, not a fork, one pair of shoes. Like, we couldn't take a lot of stuff with us because we had to leave everything behind. So when we moved here, what I love about America, there are a lot of programs that can help you settle, like get you on your feet at first. So there were a lot of programs that helped us. We got an apartment. We had nothing in it. It was empty. And we had no clothes, like literally like a few pairs of underwear and shirts, and that's
just
it.
bare walls.
Bare wall, yes. One baggage. That's all we could take. And then we met this amazing American lady. She owned a newspaper. I think it was Oregon News. So she posted an article about us in a newspaper. She said there's this family that came from Belarus. They have 5 kids. They live in 2-bedroom apartment. They have nothing. Who would like to help? Please contact me. The next day, literally, our apartment was filled with stuff. There were people that took us to the store shopping. They got us clothes. They got us like iron, pots, pans, like everything you need to start, your life. It was very helpful. It was one of the things that I always liked that. Like in my mind, it was like American people. They're really good because we had some,
and very helpful too.
They are. Because when I lived in Belarus, we had some American people visiting us, like at church and stuff. So they were always so nice, so helpful. They would like always looking for somebody to help, and like I created this image in my head that like American people, they're really good. And I knew when I come to America, they're gonna help us.
How long did you live in Oregon for?
In Oregon, I lived from 2007 till 2013. So it would be 5 years, 5 to 6 years.
What made you move to Missouri, to the Ozarks?
Oh, okay. Usually people from Belarus are more conservative. They're family-oriented, conservative, and we like to live like very like kind of quiet life. And who lived in Oregon, they know it's beautiful state. It's very beautiful, but it's so busy. It's city life. And when I got married, I was 15 years old. When I got married, I got engaged when I was 16. I got married when I was 17. Welcome to a culture. Yes.
Oh my God.
So
to a Belarus man or to an American guy?
Ukraine. He's from Ukraine.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I met him at church, at the Russian church. Was a great guy. So we got married, dated for a year, because there were certain rules at the church where we had to go. We cannot date more than this long, and then you cannot be engaged for more than this long. So we followed all these rules and, got married. A few months later, I got pregnant, and I kind of, your way of thinking changes. For me, it would be nice to live in a city. It's nice, but once you have kids, you kind of think about kids more. So, and we had my aunt, the one that invited us to America. She lived in Oregon first, then she moved to Missouri. And we both worked very hard. We had good jobs, but it was just barely enough to pay the bills. It doesn't matter how much you make over there, the living is so expensive over there. So we started thinking of moving somewhere where it's cheaper, where it's more quiet, where it's more family-oriented. And we decided to visit my aunt here and see how it is here. We came here a year before we moved. I loved it. It was very nice people. Slow pace kind of life.
Very slow.
Even at the checkout, they take forever. I used to be so mad. I'm like, guys, hurry. Like, they would ask how you doing, how your kids, how everything. I'm like, guys, I just can't go. And then after a while, I lived here. I went back to Oregon to visit. And they just scanned it for like quick and like let you go. And I'm like, what about how is my day? How am I doing? Like, you don't really want to know.
You switched.
So I'm like, no, I want to go back to my misery. So, yeah.
So how was it like the mentality? You already talked a little bit about people, how different they are, but what about the culture? Did you like it? Did you like what you saw better here? Like empty, you know, kind of streets compared to Oregon, compared to the big city, more space, more trees and squirrels.
Yeah. The very first thing, I was trying to figure out what is missing in the streets. Obviously, people, like, you're from Russia, you said I'm from Belarus, you know, every evening, everybody's out on the streets. We are walking. There's songs outside, music, people dancing. They're just walking, eating ice cream, and just talking to each other. Here, I came like, it's empty. Nobody's outside. I'm like, where are all the people? Like, why nobody's walking there? It's so beautiful here. Like, why not just take a walk with your family, with your friends? So that's the first thing I noticed. The second thing, I'm like, something is missing. I couldn't figure out what. I'm like looking, trying to see what is missing on streets. And then I figure out there's like no cats and dogs. In Belarus, it's like you walk there, is always cats, dogs, and like all animals. And I'm like, what is going on here? And then I'm like, oh, that's what's missing. Like, where is everything? But it's a good thing here. You know, they treat animals like family, so it's kind of a good thing. But that was very noticeable to me. I missed a lot the culture, the Russian culture, European culture, where you like can come like to your friend like without like calling them first, you know, you just open the door, come inside, open the fridge, you know, get yourself food. This kind of mentality, this kind of friendships that we had over there. And 15 is the worst age to move, just, you know, so you know.
That's the age I moved here, actually, too.
It was a huge culture shock. It was a big trauma, I will be honest. And the worst thing, I graduated in Belarus because I finished 9th grade, and you have an option, you can graduate there. So I finished school over there. I was so happy. Then I moved to America, and they tell me, oh, you're going back to high school. I'm
and
like,
it's
what?
12 grades.
Yes, and then like you have to get your like 3 years of English classes, and then you can get a diploma. I'm like, what do you mean I have a diploma? They're like, well, you can throw this away, you know, your diploma away, because it's not gonna work here. You live in America. So really quick, I had to realize it's like I have to start all over. Not all over, but it's. And can you imagine, like, I'm 15 years old, already like traumatized by this huge move, you know, to a different country. You have like, I had no English at all. I couldn't speak any English. I couldn't go to the store by myself. I couldn't even order McDonald's or like anything. So I was stuck home all the time basically. And then they send you to school, they put you in a class, which is very nice the way they do it. So they put you in a special class where all the students are from different countries. None of us speak English. But they're like from China, Vietnam, Ukraine, Russia, like all the different countries. And they have a special teacher who is educated and trained to work with this kind of kids. Who, like basically they teach you basic English. And the only way to communicate would be like to use English, which is a very good idea. And it helped me a lot. But when you just move to America, you have this culture shock and they put you in class where you understand nothing. They teach you math, like, in English. And you're, like, it's already a hard subject. Yeah. And then you're, like, sitting there just blinking. I remember for first 6 months, I would literally sit in the back of the class and cry. I couldn't do anything. History. Like, in Russia, they teach you, oh, communism is so good. Like, it was created to help people. And then you come here to America, and they're like, no, communism is so bad. And they teach you how they had a lot of wars about communism. And I'm like...
It's also very interesting how they teach you about World War II as well.
Yes,
that it was America who won World War II.
Yes, completely different things. The things that like they taught us in Russia, you come here, they tell you completely the opposite things and completely different story. And you're like sitting there and it's all in English. And it was like, first of all, like things, you know, completely different, you know, like understanding. Secondly, like you understand half of it, like what they say. So, and I'm like, how am I supposed to finish those 3 years when I don't understand, like, anything? But they know what they were doing, obviously. So they knew, like, you have to surround yourself with American people who speak English, and then slowly you'll, you know, learn. And I'm thankful that I did finish 3 years. I graduated. It was hard, but I graduated. They help you a lot, like, I love American people. They're all about helping you. They're like, nobody's going to laugh at you when you say something wrong. That was my biggest fear. Everybody who I'll tell you a secret. Everybody who comes to America, they understand most of everything you're saying. But the problem is they're so shy to, like, speak. because they think you're gonna laugh at them if they say something wrong. So they understand what you're saying.
So it's the embarrassment.
It's the embarrassment. Yeah, it's the fear that like, oh, what if I said something wrong? And oh my goodness, I have so many funny stories I can tell you. Like with my English, because in Belarus there is English too. Okay, they teach you English, but it's completely different English.
It's British English.
British, yeah, and the pronunciation you will never even understand what I'm saying. So I'm trying to use that in school.
Wow,
I have no idea what I'm saying, and
I'm listening to your journey right now, and it's crazy how similar it is to mine. And when I moved here as well, I was a sophomore, so I had to finish high school first, and I was so annoyed that there was 12 grades instead of 11, like in our countries.
Yeah.
And English on top of all of these subjects and the pressure of graduating and moving forward with your education is very stressful.
For sure.
So I can only imagine how you felt about that. Because I can relate.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a little bit about how much you miss Russian and Slavic culture here in America.
Sure.
Do you still celebrate and follow some of the traditions here in America?
Yes. In my family, I keep it. We speak Russian and English. I have 2 kids who are born in America. They're Americans. American citizens. They speak English perfectly, but I make sure they speak Russian as well. And holidays like New Year's, it's our biggest thing. Like, if you ever want to visit Belarus or Russia, go on New Year's.
Yes.
It is the funnest day. You will love it. Because everybody, you know how it is.
Yes, of course.
We go outside to the big, like the main Christmas tree, big tree in the center
New
of the
Year's
city.
tree, Father Frost is bringing gifts.
Exactly. It's so much fun. Everybody's out of their houses. Everybody is dancing, singing. There is music. There is food. Everybody's talking to each other, and it's just amazing. So like I try to keep that every New Year. I know in America they celebrate more Christmas and not as much New Year's. In Belarus it's the opposite. Nobody celebrates Christmas unless you go to church.
Church, yep.
And but everybody celebrates New Year's, so it's kind of the opposite thing. So I was kind of a little upset about it. I was expecting, my first New Year in America be so huge and big, go to and I did. On New Year's I went to the center of the city. They had a tree, but nobody was there. And I'm like, where are the people? Like, what is going on?
They celebrated big in New York. They have a countdown and everything.
Oh, yes.
It's fun there, but nowhere else in America.
Yes, and we turn on the TV and we do the countdown.
Yes,
it's fun.
We do too.
It's fun, and we just watch it. And hopefully, I'm planning to go to New York on the New Year.
We need to throw a Russian New Year's party here in Springfield. We need to collect all of the Slavic people and throw some fireworks. And
I think they try to do it like sometimes not on New Year's, but sometimes around that time. To get the Russian people together.
Yes.
Yeah, I miss that for sure.
So let's talk a little bit about stereotypes. You told me before that a lot of Americans don't even understand where you're from, Belarus. Like, what is that? Has anyone approached you and said anything to you that was just not true about Belarus at all?
Most of them don't even know about Belarus, so I usually say I'm from Russia, like, from Europe, Russia.
Oh, okay.
I usually say that because, honestly, most of the people didn't know Belarus. My older people, they do know Belarus, nobody else knows. So I just say I'm from Russia. And not really, like, I don't have any stories when they just...
Nobody made a joke about, why do you get cold in the winter? You're from Russia.
Oh, yeah. They've made a lot of jokes about other stuff, like alcohol and
Do
stuff.
you drink vodka all the time?
I know. They're from Russia.
Yes.
I'm like, it doesn't mean like a drink.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
But see, it depends on people, too. Like,
yes, of course. What offends me, in a way, a little bit more than alcohol is movies in America. Have you noticed that every movie in America has a Russian bad guy in it? It's always bad. It's always a spy with a scar on their face.
The other thing that offends me the most, and I know you have noticed too, when you go like, I don't know if here, I'm not sure about here, in Oregon, there's so many Russians. And every time you go to do taxes, for some reason, they're like, they look at you like you're trying to hide something. I'm like, you're trying to, like, not telling the truth.
Yes.
I don't know, if it has to do something with Russian, they're like, and she's like, I'll be honest, we have to scan, people from there more. I'm like, well, it's so not fair. Like, there's honest people and there's, like, just like in America, there's people who, not being honest all the way. It doesn't mean, like, but I felt so uncomfortable. They're like, I tell them one thing, one number, they're like, yeah, like, yes, and and you're like, so that was kind of like hurtful.
Another interesting thing is that a lot of American people think that Russian women are gold diggers. That's a huge stereotype about Russian women. Slavic women.
Well, I heard that thing, but usually when you like invite, like when you get like when Americans usually like get married, like meet online and get that they always say that. And, you know, some of them are, some of them are not. So like in America,
just like from any other country,
any country, any country. That's there's women who are actually, and there's women who are not at all.
Yes. So it's been, you said 17 years since you've lived in America. Yeah. That's a long time. That's almost 2 decades. How is your life established now here, Veronika? Share a little bit about your life now.
So since the podcast called like American Dream, I would definitely say I live my American dream for sure. I live a good life. I have a good job. I have a family. I have 4 kids actually now.
4 kids?
I got married second time. I have an amazing husband. He has 2 kids. I have 2 kids. We are doing good. Both of us have good jobs, very good paying jobs, the ones that we love and enjoy. We have houses we live in. We travel.
So you're living the American dream.
I do.
Do you think it still exists in America for Americans and for other immigrants?
Yes. If you work hard, don't think like I did when I moved to America. What's interesting, I meet so many people who just moved from Ukraine, and they actually get disappointed. They're like, oh, it is so hard here. Like, it was so much easier there. For me, it was a different story. It was so hard in Belarus, and I came here, and I'm like, wow, so many opportunities. Like, they pay you hourly compared to, Belarusian salary. You can work night and day over there. You're still going to get your $200 no matter what. That's what they pay right now. And I'm like, here, you need more money? You work more hours, Pick up shifts, do this, find a second job. You can do it because it's not salary, So that was for me, like if you wanna live good, there's so many opportunities. Just don't be lazy. Go get an education. Go get a good job. Meet some people. Have some connections. And you can achieve it for sure. America, that's why they call it.
So have you achieved your American dream, or you're still working towards it as you're living your American dream?
Your American dream kind of changes, with the time. You get older, you realize some things that, wanted to have when you were younger. They're not really a dream, when you get older. It's not really a dream, Your dream changes, like with age. At this point, I'm very happy. I wouldn't change a thing about my life. Everything I dreamed of, I really do have. I have an amazing family, amazing husband. My kids are older, no more diapers. I travel a lot for work and we just love.
So you're happy where you're at in life?
I'm very happy, yes. And there's, different types of people who are always want to get more and more and more. And some people, they're just happy where they are. At this point, I'm 32 years old. What I wanted to have by this age, I do have it. And my American dream since I was little, it changed a lot. Like, I don't dream about housekeepers and chefs in a house, but I'm very happy what I have.
And before we step into a break, what has been your proudest moment in your journey?
Proudest moment, I would say, even though I got married young, I had 2 kids, I still got my education. That's why I don't understand some people. When they're single, they don't have, husband and wife, kids running around. They don't barely work. Why don't you go to school? There's so many help that would help you. Don't have money, no problem. Programs, financial aids, they can help you get a loan, with a low interest or something. So for me, I'm very proud of that even though I had 2 kids, I got married young, I have a good education. Even though I was even working at that time, I had 2 kids, had no babysitters. I managed to graduate after 6 years. I managed to get a good degree and have a great job, So for me, I'm very proud of that. It was hard. Yeah.
And what advice would you give to other immigrants from Belarus in terms of coming to America?
Till this day, they feel like it's so easy here. They feel like, because it's all the media, that's showing. It's like, oh, you can live good here. You can have a housekeeper and a chef, but it doesn't mean it's going to fall from the skies. And, you have to work hard, just like you do in Belarus, but 3 times harder, okay? it all depends what you want. If you're happy where you are, fine. You can live like, life you lived back in Ukraine or Belarus. But if you actually want to live your American dream, it takes work for sure.
Welcome back. You're listening and watching the American Dream podcast. I'm here in the studio with Veranika or Veranika from Belarus. Is it Veranika or Veronica?
Veranika.
Veranika.
But I make it easier for people here, so just say Veronika.
Do people have trouble pronouncing your name?
I just make it easier for them right away. I just say Veronika. But
Veronika.
Sometimes they're like, wait, no, I want to know your real name. And they try to pronounce it. Because it's spelled Vera, so they say it Veranika. So I'm like, just say Veronika. It's so much better. I like my actual name, Veranika.
Veranika.
I like the way it sounds. Yeah,
Yes, me too.
Not that many people can pronounce it. So Veronika is fine.
We're about to take an imaginary trip back to your homeland, Belarus. When was the last time you were home?
Actually, I haven't traveled to Belarus for 12 years at first. I've never been back. And actually, the first time I traveled was 2019, I believe.
Okay.
My dad, unfortunately, had a stroke, so I had to go there and settle him in a good place. So I traveled back. But all the times before that, I really wanted to do it. Didn't have an opportunity to. And I always had dreams, like I'm walking on the streets when I was born, and I have those flashbacks, and like I really, really, really wanted to go back. I don't know, in my head, I created, like I have all those good memories, so I wanted to like just go back and just experience, the life again.
So it's been 6 years since you last visited Belarus.
I think so.
6 years.
No, actually 2 years back I had to go again.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you still have fresh memories of everything you saw in Belarus with dollars this time because you traveled there with
a lot
dollars.
Has changed for sure.
Yes. So let's talk about this first. What makes Belarus a unique destination compared to other Eastern European countries?
I would say number one, it's culture, for sure. Culture. It's beautiful, of course. It has beautiful old buildings, and I was pleasantly surprised to see how clean it is. They restored a lot of buildings. They keep it clean. Not even one piece of trash on the ground. That's what I like about Belarus, for sure. It's very clean country, nice people. It's different culture. They're not gonna talk to you. Don't ask them how they're doing, because I tried. They just looked weird at me, and they kind of scoot back.
Avoided you.
Then I came back home, and I asked my cousins, like, am I doing something wrong? I tried to talk to a lady. She had like a cute baby, and I said, oh, your baby is so cute, like I would say in America. And she just took the baby and hid it behind her back. And I'm like, and my cousin's like, Veronika, don't do it, please. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you guys don't talk. Like, everybody's like, I purposely wanted to take a bus. Because that's what I used to do, okay? So it was, you don't have money, you take a bus. And there's a lot of people at the bus station. And here in America, you just talk, right? You say, hey, how are you doing? Oh, you have a beautiful dress on, or something, like make some kind of comments to start a conversation. And everybody was there just standing quietly, like not saying anything. So I tried to say something about the baby. The baby was really cute. Didn't work well. And then I came home and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, we don't do this here. Like, and I forgot, like apparently I forgot that it's kind of culture thing. The other thing I noticed, how everybody's dressed up, You go to the store, you put almost heels on,
Of course,
you curl
makeup,
your hair, you
curl
put
your
makeup
hair.
on.
That was the first thing I told you this morning when we met. I was like, I had to look presentable because we're both Slavic women. I know how, well-dressed and prepared Slavic women
And
are.
that's a good thing, actually. I think it's a good thing. They teach you from a very young age to take care of yourself. You always have to look presentable, makeup, hair. Not like over, but you don't go to the store with unwashed hair or like.
And it's not like an insecurity thing. Like a lot of Americans are like, are you ashamed of how you look without all of this? I'm like, no, I'm just trying to show respect to other people.
Yeah, it's just how you were raised, and it's actually really good. When I visited Belarus recently, the first time actually, I took with me a whole bunch of like sweatpants, hoodies, and stuff like that. I forgot that like you wear dresses over there, and I came there and we wanted to go to the city to walk around, and my cousins are like, Veronika, can we please go buy you some clothes? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what's wrong with my clothes? They're like, we don't walk like this. We don't walk in sweatpants. I'm like, it's comfortable. And they're like wearing heels. I'm like, I'm not gonna wear heels in the city. They're like, no, Veronika, like everybody's gonna be making fun of you. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. But I did end up going to the store, and I had to get some new clothes because they don't do this. They don't wear sweatpants and hoodies. Kind of.
Unfortunately, our culture is a bit judgmental when it comes to looks and the way you dresses, especially when it comes to women. I feel like nobody's going to say anything, but they will give you the look. Like, why do you wear sweatpants? Come on.
Well,
know.
but don't you think, honestly, it's everywhere like this? They don't put a
I feel
lot
like
of attention
Americans-
here, but it's... Most of the people in here, they, present themselves well, you know what I mean?
I feel like
They
in
don't-
bigger cities, yes, but here locally in Ozarks, usually people even go to theater wearing sweatpants and like short
comfortable.
shorts and like tank tops and I don't even know, hats, weird hats.
I had a lot of comments. I heard a lot of comments from American friends, and they're like, men, they're like, man, you know what we like on Sundays to drive by the Russian church. Like, there's so many beautiful women. They're dressed up so beautiful. I'm like, they're like, do you guys always dress like this? I'm like, we try. Like,
Yeah, so if you're going to go to our countries, be prepared with beautiful clothes.
Yeah, take a dress for sure to go to a restaurant.
Yes.
Like, sweatpants, maybe I can wear at home.
Yes.
So buy jeans at least. And
But even if you're going to take the trash out in Belarus,
Yes.
be prepared to look presentable.
you go to the stores, which is literally like downstairs. Like you live on the 9th floor I lived, and I had to go downstairs on an elevator and go to the store. I still had to dress up and do my hair. I was my cousins, they're close to my age. They wouldn't let me out of the house. Like,
Let's talk about money now. How expensive is it to travel to Belarus? If you're an American person with dollars.
that's actually a good question. The first time I went to Belarus, I had no idea how the life is like. So, and I didn't know how much to take with me, how much will I need, and what to do. I think I took with me $2,000. Tickets are not that expensive. I think we paid you can get a ticket for around $900.
Round trip for one person?
Yes, for one person round trip, which is not bad. You can... To go to Europe, it's not too bad. You can get it for $700. You can get it up to, I would say up to $1,000. You can get,
Depends on the
tickets.
season.
Yes, but usually it's around $1,000. So I took $2,000 with me, and I was surprised how cheap everything is. I literally was eating every single day breakfast, lunch, and dinner at restaurants, and I would take my whole family, a lot of people. Like I would have 10 people at the table at the restaurant and pay like $40 for the whole meal. For soup, salad, and everything. Like, to eat at a restaurant for one person, you would spend, if you want to have, a really good meal, $10, $15. Because when you trade US dollars to rubles, it's 3 times more, actually. So $1 right now, I think it's...
I just translated $2,000 in Belarus rubles, and it is 6,545
Exactly.
Belarus rubles.
So it's $1 is like 3 rubles. And keep in mind, the pays over there is around 600 rubles, so it's $200, around $200. It's a good job, good pay. It's hard to find $200. So when I came there with $2,000 and I'm talking to my aunt, I'm like, I only took $2,000 with me for 2 weeks. Would that be enough?
And that's like a yearly
and
salary.
She's like, Veronica, we live for $200 a month. And we have to pay all the bills. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So if you want to travel to Belarus with dollars, you will be fine. You can
no problem
probably
at all.
go
You can
to
have the best life for the whole month with
get a good
$500.
hotel. Hotels
Good hotels are about $30
a night.
a night.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's
Yep.
very cheap. And you can get monthly, even cheaper rates. So yeah, money, it's not an issue for sure.
What about places in Belarus? Where should a traveler who'd never been to Belarus or any Slavic countries before, where should they land in Belarus? What city should they see
Well,
first?
there is only one airport, so you'll definitely land in Minsk. And which actually the best place to visit. There is a lot of historic places you can go to, but Minsk is the capital of the Belarus, and it's beautiful. It's not as big and, as some states in America, but it's very historical. There's a lot of places like botanical gardens. There's a lot of zoos, actually. They have very famous zoo. It calls the Belarusskaya Pushcha, where animals are in huge, huge cages, and they're they call it free, So they don't even feel like they're in a cage. So you can walk around, and it's a very famous place. There's a lot of older Catholic churches and Orthodox churches you can visit. They're beautiful. They're There's a lot of history over there. If you love history, I would recommend you visiting.
Beautiful architecture too.
For sure.
Just
the
take
buildings.
pictures everywhere you
So
go.
that's what I did. For the first week, I was just taking pictures by the beautiful buildings. And, people are nice. There's a lot of good restaurants. Food is amazing. When I came back, it took me a while to get back to American food because it didn't taste the same. Like, you feel like eating the same potatoes, but it's not. It doesn't taste the same. The milk tastes different. The butter.
Yes, Belarus is famous for potatoes, right?
For sure, yeah.
So what is the traditional dish there to try?
Definitely would be something with potatoes.
Mashed potatoes?
Draniki, I would say it's like hash browns, and you can put like meat inside of the hash brown or something like that. Mashed potato, we eat it all the time. We call potatoes our second bread over there. So it's when you eat potatoes, you don't eat bread. And it's kind of funny when like some people here they eat mashed potatoes and they have a bread on the side. I'm like, what do you mean? Like you do one or the other?
So Minsk, land in Minsk first because you have no other options.
Yeah, I have no other options, and it's beautiful. You want to be in Minsk for sure.
And what about some hidden gems of Belarus, like little villages or little beautiful locations of forests?
Okay. If I would be we're talking about American people, right? If I would be an American person, just wanted to experience a different culture, different lifestyle, you would land in Minsk, and I would definitely, if you want to have fun and you want to see the life of the city, like how people live, like I would go to Nemiga. Nemiga is the river that goes through the city, and they have a lot of restaurants. There are a lot of people just walking, like a lot of places here in America, kind of same thing, but they have live music. They're like, there's a lot of people. You would be surprised how many people just walking, over there. There's singing, dancing, live music, restaurants. Most of the restaurants, they put like tables outside so you can like eat outside and enjoy the view. So Nemiga would be definitely one of the places you would go. If you want to experience the culture, I would definitely recommend going to some kind of village. I love visiting my grandma's house. She has barely no electricity, basically no water in the house, but she leaves her house like I don't know. I'll buy it. I want to buy that house. It probably costs like $10,000 over there, but you open the windows and you have a view of the Berezino River, and actually this river, if you learn the history, it's where the Napoleon lost his gold. So till this day, you open the window and they do it for fun. Probably there's no gold or who knows. So there's a lot of like boats, like people do it for fun. They just ride the boats and they try to find the gold that Napoleon lost. But it's beautiful. It's just nature all around you. Forest, river, an old house, like nothing in there. Everything is wooden, no electricity, like firewood stove. But it's no internet. The internet doesn't work there. Definitely go there. Just fields and water you get from the well. So you have to take a bucket. You take the bucket, you put it in the well. You get the most delicious water, honestly. So clean, so good.
Do people speak English in places like that in Belarus?
In villages? No, not at all.
So you must learn a little bit of Belarus language or Russian language, right? In order to go to tiny village. Because there's also no internet, like you said. No service. You can't use Google Translator.
In the villages, young people don't live there.
Okay.
All the young people, they want to move to the city.
Of course,
nobody. But they all love to visit in the summer. And yeah, they're definitely no English. So basic words. And some villages, where the one that I'm talking about, there's no store. So there is a truck that comes twice a week. So you have to figure out that now, like how to get food. So on Wednesday, it makes a stop at a certain point. You have to go there, buy yourself food. Like bathrooms outside, of course,
What is the sentence you would recommend Americans to know in Belarus language if they want to, before they go to Belarus? Hi, how are you? Or since you said don't ask how are you, hi, help me.
Help me probably would be useful.
How to say it in Belarus language?
Pomogimnia.
Pomogimnia, like in Russian.
Yeah, the thing is, in Belarus, we have two native languages. We have Belarusian and Russian. So that's the thing.
Belarusian.
We have a Belarusian language. It's similar to Russian. It's a mixture of Russian and Ukrainian. Like, it's weird. If somebody speaks Belarusian, if you speak Russian, you would understand them. but it's different. Same thing like Ukrainian language. If you speak Russian, you would understand Ukrainian some words, but not like it's different.
Sometimes when my Ukrainian friends that live here speak Ukrainian, I think I'm drunk in a way, and like I can hear and understand the context of their sentence.
So
but it's but at the same time I don't understand. That's why I feel like I'm drunk or something.
Me Ukrainian or like, but I understand it because it's kinda you can figure out what they're trying to say. But to be honest, the president tried so hard to push like Belarusian language to students because he's very,
patriotic.
Patriotic about his country. And he tries, one year, I remember they made like everything in Belarusian and all the kids were so confused because usually it's in Russian and we have a Belarusian subject, like Belarusian language subject. And to be honest, young people don't speak Belarusian. Like nobody speaks Belarusian there. It's more like all elderly people. Like older people, they
You speak Belarusian, right?
A little. I understand it. I can speak a little. I can write a little in Belarusian, but honestly, like nobody uses it, so it's not really. Yeah, I learned Belarusian for 9 years. It's different. Yeah, some letters are different. The pronunciation is different. So it's Russian. If you know Russian, you would be good.
What about the mentality of Belarus or Belarusian people? How to approach a person and what not to say. Like you already said, don't ask how are you. How to approach a person then? Be more direct, or like don't be scared of just, poker face that is not smiling. Nobody smiles.
That's a good question. And Belarus, just like you mentioned, like probably in Russia too, we are taught from the first, like from very young age, like it's not appropriate to smile, like for no reason.
Yeah, if you smile, you're stupid.
Yes, you're stupid, or like they like everybody talks about America, like they're so fake. They always smile.
Yes,
I'm like I would rather go to a country where everybody's fake and smiling than go to a culture and see all those mean like faces over there. And I was the one who was saying that. I'm like, oh, you're so fake. Why you always smile? And why you ask me how are you? Like, do you really care? How am I doing?
Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's actually so nice. Why not? Like, why not somebody, how are you doing? Even if it's just like a phrase you throw, like, how are you? But it feels nice, right? When you go there, don't expect that. Nobody's going to ask you how you doing. They don't care. And they're not going to hide it. They're not going to smile to you. They're just going to have a basically blank face. And that's how they raised. That's how they thought. Even in a passport, there's so many jokes about it. Like,
it's just this.
Yeah, so you just make a straight face, you do not smile. And like it took me a while to learn how to smile, honestly. Like I didn't like, even if I look at my pictures, there's no smile at all. Like not that I wasn't happy, but you just don't smile.
Yes.
There's like this joke, I'll tell you, like it's like there's this picture they posted, like some Americans. There's like 200 people and they're like, how do you spot the Russian, And like everybody's smiling, all the Americans like so big, and there's this face right in the middle, like just like the most serious face, and they're like circled it right there, It's like,
this is the picture we're gonna take here soon and post it on our Instagram. Check it out, podcast TAD. But now let's talk a little bit about natural landscapes of Belarus. You mentioned a little bit about the river, but for a natural enthusiast, where should they go to see the natural beauty of Belarus? Not the city.
Not the city.
And not the village, because there's no service.
Sure. I mentioned it previously, it was Belarusska Pushcha. So it's huge forest with like very rare animals you would see, like zubr. I don't know how to.
Zubr?
How do you say bison?
I don't even know what the animal is. I don't even know,
like the bison, or I don't know how you say it. And they live like in a huge cages. And at the same time, you're gonna see the river. You're gonna see this part of why it's so famous, because it has not been touched. So you try to preserve it as much as you can. So all the animals, they basically live how they would live, like in a free caged lifestyle, because it's so huge. They're like little. Forest has not been touched. Like there's a river, and they try to preserve it as much as they can. So that would be kind of a good thing to see. They have a lot of forests.
So lots of nature to explore in Belarus.
For sure, yeah. I wouldn't say there's a lot of mountains. There's no ocean. There's not a lot of mountains, but forests. I guess greenery would be one of the things you can really, if you love nature.
And for Americans, what is the best way of transportation in Belarus?
These days, they're so actually advanced. I was shocked to see. They have Uber, they have Lyft, but there's this kind of taxis they called 9 ruble taxi. You can go anywhere in the city for $3. 9 rubles, $3. So that's what I usually do. I just go there and you just call this phone number. But the problem is they send you codes to like a Belarusian number, but it cannot get to you because you probably have American. So when I go there, I would definitely recommend like doing a Viber if you want to connect with your family, WhatsApp, something like that. And what I already have, I was getting a taxi, and then I just got a phone number from one of the people who is a taxi driver that I liked. And every time I go there, I trust this person because sometimes you have to. We have a lot of nice people, but still have to be careful.
Bambili.
For the safety. When people know you're from America, like I told you, they automatically think you have like millions of dollars with you.
And they can literally charge you probably like $30 to get from one side to another.
Or 5 times more. Not that like they would like kill you or anything. No, not like that.
They would
they
just
would try to
overcharge.
scam you. Yeah, like they think you have money, so they're like, oh, like. They'll tell like $50 or something like that. You know, when it actually costs like $3.
And Americans would probably believe that, oh my God, of course it's $50. I'm on the other side of the planet.
Cheap, you know, like $50 for a taxi here, like it's not much, right? But no, for like Belarus, and so that's why you have to like be careful about that, find out like the prices and everything.
And what is the best time of year to visit Belarus? To see maybe a festival or an interesting event?
Honestly, I don't know. Summer, I went in the summer. It was so hot. It was probably like 100-something Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow.
And over there, everybody walks. Literally, like, I was surprised to see so many cars, but usually you either ride a bus or you walk. And if it's 100 Fahrenheit, the bus is not like here. It's so...
It doesn't have AC.
It doesn't have AC, and it's packed of people. So you literally have like people all over you. And it's hot, and it's like, so yeah, I wouldn't... But it's a nice thing to experience for sure. We have
go during summer?
Closer to the fall, I would say, because it's not as hot. In the summer, it's very hot. When I was.
What about festivals? Like I said, should people visit Belarus during winter for New Year's, or is it going to be too cold?
Winters, don't go there. It's too cold. You will not be able to make it. First of all, you have to wear those heavy coats because it's so cold. Secondly, like their transportation would be a problem issue because there's so much snow. One of the things, like when I moved to America, it was winter time and they had this much snow on the ground that they canceled school. I'm like, are you serious? I had this much snow in Belarus and I had to make my way through the snow, like literally like shove the snow on the sides. And you go to school, you take yourself like with you, like pair like of clothes to change and you hang your coat and you dry it after school. So I was laughing. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, no school?
But see, the thing is, they don't change their tires here. They don't have like winter tires and summer tires like people do in Belarus. So it's very dangerous to like drive on the streets with bare tires.
For sure.
Is what I've heard.
In America, they do have like winter tires too.
They have like all seasons tires is what they call them. Like all cars have them,
like
but...
I don't know, but yeah, we walked to school. I don't know. Yeah,
I know. I walked through the forest during winter, like in the dark, where people were getting kidnapped in Russia.
Yes.
Like, and I was totally fine.
Yes.
That's how I grew up.
You walk, you like, yeah, my school.
No school buses.
School from home was like, I'm not kidding, like an hour walk. And you just take your friend and you walk for an hour and you're like 7 years old. Nobody worries about you.
Yes.
And like everybody was safe. I never heard stories like somebody got kidnapped or something. No, like it's normal. You walk and there's a whole bunch of kids walking. And after school, you take somebody with you and you go back home, you know, and it's dark. So that was safer. Definitely do not go in the winter time. I would worry about you. But fall would be good. Or May 9th, it's the Independence Day. Like July 4th is here.
9 Maya. Yes, May 9th. That's the World War II.
Yeah, so Independence Day. Yeah, and they throw a huge parades. They have like fireworks. It's like they have. It's amazing.
It's like 4th of July, but
4th of July, but like twice
as bigger,
and twice more fun for sure.
Yes.
It's a big festival over there.
And before we step into another break, what is something that everyone should bring with them, like an item or a souvenir, back from Belarus after their travel is over?
Oh, for sure, I know that. Not a souvenir, but something that can have value here. Gold. I'll tell you right away.
Gold.
I bought so much gold over there, like $30 a necklace. You come here, you can sell it much more because it's a better quality gold over there, and it's so cheap, like literally $15, $20, $30, and like I came here just wanted to appraise, like, you know, how much, and they gave me like 200 something or 300. I'm like, what? Like I paid like $10, $15. So if you want to have it's beautiful. It looks different than American gold. It's more reddish. And at the same time, it has value. Like, it's pure gold and looks beautiful. And, you know, if you want to...
What a great business idea. Next time I'm going to go to Russia, I will bring the gold. They don't let you take a lot. Welcome back. This is the American Dream Podcast. I'm in the studio with Veranika from Belarus. We are about to discuss some of the items that you brought with you from your, is it last trip or ever since you immigrated here?
I had 2 trips, so from 2 trips. Yeah.
So from the past 2 trips, items that you brought with you from your homeland.
Yes.
What are those items?
The first item would be a nesting doll. It's like a lot of Americans love it. Actually, before I left, one of the American people, my friends, they asked me specifically for this item. Because it's handmade, it's hand-painted, it's absolutely beautiful. It's something that reminds me of my childhood. So I got few of them.
How big is it?
I didn't want to get too big, so it's probably like this size. And
so
I
like
got
the size of the bottle?
Yeah, something like that. And I got a smaller size. I got different sizes because like I really like them. I think I got 3.
How many pieces do they have inside? Do you have them on a display as all of them or just one doll?
I had a bookshelf where I put like all of them. Then when I moved, I just kind of put it in a box. I call it my Belarusian box, where I have all my like Belarusian like things.
Oh, so they don't stand on display now? They're just in a box?
No, not that. I'll find a place. I like it. I try to preserve it, you know.
Yeah, so you brought 2 dolls with you, 2 nesting dolls.
Yes.
What about the next item?
The next item, it was a scarf. It was a very like flower printed kind of scarf because it's something that reminds me of Belarus. It's like when I see it, it's like village. My grandma was wearing it. It's something like even if you show it to American, you know, the scarf, they know it's from Europe, you know, from somewhere, from the village or something like that.
You know, last or actually maybe 3 winters ago, I took this picture that I have on my personal Facebook, and this is the scarf I brought from Russia. It's red and like brown, green, and this scarf was my grandma's scarf. So last time I visited it, I brought this scarf with me too. Very similar.
It's beautiful, even you can wear it in America. It's something that like reminds me like of Belarus. You know?
Yeah.
And the third item I brought, it's actually funny. I went to my grandma's house. I did not know that she saved all my notebooks from like school when I was 6 years old. And she saved that. It was so amazing. And I can see my grades. And I looked at my handwriting when I was 6 years old and I was shocked. Because it is so complicated. It is so, it's perfect. Like I haven't seen like adults writing, because if you are from Europe, you know how strict they are with the handwriting.
Of course. Teachers in our countries are...
There has to be a certain angle. It has to be certain curves. It has to be, like, perfect. So, and it's actually a good thing to teach, you know, because, like, I look at my kids, like, in school here, they concentrate more on the grammar, not as much on the, like, handwriting, how good it is. But over there, it's grammar and it's handwriting for sure.
Yes, yeah. So it is called propis.
Yeah, it calls the propis. It's a special notebook which has already imprinted letters, but you have to like go over them with a pen so you know the right way to write it, the right curves, the right angles. So I have that, and it was really nice to see how like amazing my handwriting was when I was 6 years old. So.
Do you show your kids all of these items?
I showed my kids. I'm like, see, I was 6 years old. That's how I was writing. And look at your handwriting. Like,
do you teach them to write in Belarusian and Russian as well as in English?
I wanted for my kids to be bilingual for sure. When my kid was 6 years old, there's this church. They have Russian classes. It's once a week.
Where is it at? Springfield?
It's a Bread of Life in Ozark. They have it once a day on Friday. For 2 hours from 7 to 9. It was so cheap. It was $100 a year. In 2 weeks, they taught my son how to read and like write in Russian. I was shocked.
Wow.
2 weeks it took. 2 hours a week. So like somebody wants to do, they have American people, they have kids, and they put you at a certain grade. So my kids, the oldest one, he knows how to read and write in Russian, and I'm proud of it. He's 14 now. The second one, I'm not interested at all. So I didn't even start with him.
Do you talk to your kids in Russian? Do you try to, embrace your culture on them too?
They understand everything in Russian for sure. The oldest one knows how to read in Russian. My mom, she only speaks Russian. So it's good. Because I know in America, from my personal experience, it helps a lot to be bilingual. There's so many more jobs opportunities for you. And if I wouldn't like come from a different country, I would definitely like try to learn Spanish. If I would be an American person, like, cause it's good. There's so many, like, I got so many jobs without like any background, like education, without any experience, but because I was bilingual, because I could attract like Russian clients, Russian customers. I did make a lot of money for some companies because like all the Russians, once they know somebody speaks Russian, they will bring all the Russians like with them. So it's kind of good tips, for American businesses. Now that's true. Like, from the experience, even some kind of American, like American insurance company.
That's true.
Once they know somebody speaks Russian over there, you will have at least like 50 Russians, with like home insurance is currency. And that's what I did. I worked at a chiropractic clinic. And they were in Oregon. We had a lot of Russian clients, people. So all the Russian people that would come to our clinic, I had to do a lot of work, translate all the paperwork and stuff. But they had a lot of clients. I got a lot of bonuses. So that worked out.
Wow. I have learned quite a bit about your background, your culture, the Belarus food, the potatoes. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with me. My dream came true. I finally got to interview someone from my dream country. For some reason, it was Belarus since I was little. So thank you so much for visiting me.
You're welcome. It was so nice to meet you. And thank you for inviting me here.
Thanks for tuning in to the American Dream Podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on your favorite platform, keep dreaming, and see you next time.